Welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show, and I've just got back and made what I consider to be one of the most historically important fishing films I've ever made. I'm going to call it The Secret Island. Please don't write in and ask where it is. I'm not going to say where it is. The people that go there who are regulars, yes, they're going to know where it is, but I'm not going to publicise it. Honestly, I wasn't paid to go over there. I actually physically paid myself to go over there. So I don't know anybody anything. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of those places, a rarity in the planet today. The fishing is nothing short of phenomenal. Let me show you what it's like. I enjoyed making the film. I enjoyed fishing it. Man, what a spot. Out there, beneath the shimmering surface of the Atlantic Ocean, lies some of the greatest game fish on the planet. Fish that hunt right up to the base of the land, and that puts them well within range of the shore fishermen. Reel ripping, line melting, tackle busting monsters of the deep. And in amongst them, the giant yellowfin tuna. And across this bay lies a finger of solidified volcanic rock, stretching into the deep water like a finger of destiny. One of the few places in the world where a fisherman can hook into, quite literally, the fish of a lifetime. This island is one of several that's south of a fracture zone, and who knows when it will erupt again. And the rocks here, well, they're huge, but they're volcanic, so they're very, very light to pick up. Even a wimp like me can pick up huge boulders and huge rocks. It's what I think they make pumice stone from, a weird compound formed by obviously massive heat from the centre of the earth, and that in turn leads to these weird and wonderful solidified shapes that might look like something on a lunar landing or from Mars. And out there on the end of that peninsula land is one man that I met, totally dedicated to the sport of catching giant yellowfin from the shore. That finger of solidified volcanic rock just happens to be right where the giant tuna run past. And this English angler, who does not want me to name him or even mention the island, and I won't, casts out a huge massive surface popper into the ocean and cranks it back at breakneck speed, almost like a marlin lure being trolled behind a big game boat. It's designed, that skipping action, to attract the tuna right up underneath them, and they crash in and grab it and take one of the two hooks there. Now then, once you've made that initial cast and that initial retrieve on heavy tackle, you do the same thing literally over and over and over again. There is no easy way to catch a tuna from the shore. It is a work ethic, is what I'm going to call it, a dedication that I rarely have seen amongst anglers. This man has caught monster fish in excess of 200 pounds. He has all the gear, and yes, he definitely does have the idea. He's got a life jacket, stops him in case he falls in there. There's dangerous currents, as you can see right on the end of the island here. There is a current going from left to right. The prevailing wind could also push you offshore. There is nobody but nobody to rescue you. You are on your own. You put the rod in the butt, you crank like crazy, and you hope you're going to catch a tuna, but I imagine you also hope it's not going to be too big. With us on the trip was Kev. Kev is dead keen fishing, and he soon got down and fished with this other angler alongside. I had to get down myself, of course. Now let me tell you folks, this rock is absolutely lethal. It's formed millions of years ago from huge intense heat, and it is razor sharp on the edge. One of our guys fell over. He just tripped on a short trip and opened his hand up immediately. Not to mention, if you fall down one of those rock crevasses, you are totally toast, and I'm carrying a 30-pound camera equipment on my back, my fishing rod, and a blue bag full of tackle. As a non-swimmer, there's obviously no way I'm coming back with 50 pounds of equipment on my back. And at my age, let's face it, I shouldn't be climbing over there at all. And here I am on that actual secret island at the most hallowed spot you could ever wish to be. This peninsula of rock, I believe, was probably spewed out by the mountain when it was volcanic through the big lava tube that's up there. That's my theory. I'm no geologist, but I find all this rocky stuff quite interesting. And I think this peninsula that sticks out in between two bays into the deep water is the leftover of the lava tube that pushed out into the sea, and as it cooled, left this peninsula. I also think just down the side here is a reef that runs out under the water, and as the current runs this way, I think it pushes over that reef, i.e. the end of the lava flow tunnel, and that is possibly why slightly right from this peninsula is the alleged hallowed hotspot of the best tuna fishing from the shore in the world. Okay, I'm very, very unlikely to catch anything in the way of tuna. You never know, it might happen. 3 or 4 of us over here having a go at it, but there's an English guy that really set the world alight, and I'm so pleased he's English, pioneering it here, and he had the first tuna over, wait for this, 200 pounds off this exact spot on the shore, over 6 hours battling it alone. He's got it. It's since been broken by an even bigger fish, but great to see an English guy catch it. Now, the sort of gear we've come with is probably totally inadequate for a 200-pound tuna, but the chances of hitting one are, to say the least, remote. However, for all you guys out there that just want to go popper fishing and fishing with, fast jigs, here's a little rundown on it. This is a good heavy-duty spin casting rod. They have a pretty high hand grip up here, because when you fight the fish, you want to be well up here. You don't want to be fighting it down here, because that's an immense lever working against you. You want your arm out straight, so your elbow can pump the fish up, using your shoulder to pump it back and then wind down. You need, as you can see, I'm not plugging them, it's just a fairly hefty, heavy duty and expensive spinning reel. It's got a big wide drag surface on the front. The wider drag surface can apply a huge amount of drag, up to a point obviously, and that goes transmitted through. What they use is not nylon, they use braid. This is 80-pound braid. Some use or recommend 100-pound braid here. They tie themselves to the rocks. I mean, it's just historic, epic fishing. Most of the action comes on popper plugs, possibly twice as big as this. Anything you normally buy, you're going to have to upgrade, so they tell us, to real ultra heavy duty split rings, big swivels, possibly 80 to 100 pound mono or bigger, 150 pound mono. You can put trebles. I've actually put triple strength trebles on mine. I had some left over from a lot of Karambisi. In case people don't know what Karambisi is, I did a lot of fishing in Kenya, and that's what they call Karambisi, is the Giant Trevally or GT. I use triple strength trebles, and you've got heavy duty split rings. You can use 2 singles, but most of the specialists, the guys that come here, use plugs at least as big as this, and cast and wind and cast and wind for what appears to be days. So that's a basic rig. Also, they tell me, on these wedges. Again, extra strength here. You've got to have extra strength. Now, what I've done, because I was really tight, I thought I don't need any extra strength split rings. But what I've done is I've wired between the two there. I don't use those at all. I can put through some of them. I put the loop through here, and I put a loop through here and attach the hooks like that. And whatever. If I lose a fish, I lose a fish. I can only pull so hard with my fishing rod. I'm no specialist, just trying to help you along. Now, when you cast out, not so much with the poppers, but with the jigs being heavy, they're going to swing in, they're going to hit this lava rock. Every time they clink against that, not going to damage yours, going to damage the point of your hooks. So make sure you take a small file and just file the points up. Every now and then take a break and file those points up. Might just help you get the extra fish or two. You need yards and yards of high quality rope attached to, yes, a long pole, and at the end of that pole is a proper dart, a proper harpoon that they use commercially for tuna fishing. That is designed for fish in excess of maybe 200 pounds. You have a backup in the shape of a spear gun as well to try and get that fish close to the rocks. You need a tackle box, generally waterproof with plenty of popper lures in them. You need extra extension poles to your gaff so you can get down this lava rock close to the water's edge and at least have a chance of getting one of those giant yellowfin tunas out of the water. It's repetitive, it's extremely physical. This guy trains for 2 to 3 months before he even goes on his trip there to catch a tuna. He ties himself to the rock, actually physically ties himself, so when he gets a hook up he has a sort of snap link arrangement whereby he can tie himself actually to this pinnacle of rock. The biggest problem you can have, he tells me, is when you have a big fish of maybe 100 pounds or more pulling away under a lot of drag pressure and then suddenly the line snaps. Well, what happens? You go spiralling back over the rocks, crack your head open and nobody comes to rescue you. That's the risk with this type of extreme rock fishing. Just before we got there, he'd hooked a fish that had gone round that second peninsula you can see in the distance in the background. That's probably 300 metres away. The tuna he estimates to be in excess of 280 pounds. It took his popper plug and stripped the reel in one blast right around the peninsula of land. It's a risk you take. It is extreme fishing, but it's there to be captured. Even his camera is elasticated in position on the rock, positioned so when he's fishing alone at least he might be able to reach across, press the start button and get some action on what could be incredible fishing footage. He uses a leather finger stall on his right hand to help take the strain of casting perpetually using this braid and shock leader system. There's a ring on the rod which he can attach a fighting harness to, so he's physically clipped to the rock and all the time casting, retrieving, hour upon hour, day after day. It is not physically easy fishing, it is in fact quite physically demanding. If you do not get the action right on this popper plug skimming across the water, you will not catch a fish. It's as simple as that. He has a proper harness. He can clip to that ring you can see just above the reel on the actual rod butt. He can clip to that to help give him some extra pressure. He has a knife cutting system. Should he get dragged off the rocks, that fish will drag you under the water and it will drown you. You can cut the line when he wants. And here, this would be called a great fish by anybody else's standards. It's sort of unwanted. This is just a bycatch and back it goes to fight another day. It's rare to find yourself a really good fishing base or flat rock. Everything here is a pain to stand on, to fish from, to move around on. You need to get yourself a good pair of boots, something that doesn't slip, Do not even think of going there with something as mad as flip-flops. You will have no skin left. And as this guy hooks up a fish, you can see he's even there had to sit down. This is not a tuna, this is just one of the jack species, and he still had to sit down because the pressure is on. With a fish pulling away, it can easily topple you off the rocks. Kev's there with a gaff. What sort of species is it? It could be either an almaco jack, an amberjack, or maybe one of the hard fighting blackjacks. Well, I think one of the things you should do, just look at the angled fused rock here, which is very sharp. I think wearing a pair of gloves down there is an excellent idea, not just in case you slip, but also for continual winding of the reel. It's the most amazing rock formations you could see. It's something most bizarre. You're going to need to enlist the help of the birds. They will be there anyway. They will be feeding on baitfish that the tuna and the jack species have driven up towards the surface. As the fish get near the surface, so the birds will drop and try and peck off anyone's left over, dead, dying or injured. And basically that's why popper fishing on the surface is so popular, because a lot of the hits naturally come from tuna and jacks exploding onto baitfish that have been pushed up to the surface. You can see here this skipping motion drags any predator, well, close in towards you. And here, lucky Kev gets hooked up to, wait for this, he's actually, can you believe it, got a really nice big yellowfin tuna. No, it's not in the 200-pound range, but just watch here as our English friend, experienced as he is, slips down. Well, he knows what he's doing, he's been doing it some years, and he still gets a wobbly footing there on gaffing the fish. That just goes to show you, it's a two-man deal. How on earth he fishes on his own is quite beyond me. But look at this fabulous tuna that Kev's got, first time out.
We go, Graeme, that's my first yellowfin tuna off the rocks. Grant, the guy behind me from England, he's caught them to 80 kilos here.
80 kilos?
Yeah, this one's probably 10 kilo, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, he's 20, 25 pounds,
25 pounds,
22.
Yeah. He's already had the 40-pound amberjack, and there's loads of big blackjacks just off the edge there.
Really?
Up like 10 kilos.
So. But when I was up on the cliffs filming, I saw like a bust beyond belief. It had to be 150-pound tuna.
Easy, that's what Grant reckons. It was well over £100.
Fantastic fishing, eh? Not bad.
Unbelievable.
What does it make English shore fishing look like?
Kid stuff.
Bit sad. So what are you rigging up for the next flounder trip?
Get me sequins on for a flounder trip. But let's see if you can get one a bit bigger now, because there's a hell of a lot of fish out there.
As well as the hard-fighting tuna, you've got the rod-bending action of the various members of the jack family. They will follow that popper in and absolutely explode on it right at your feet, grabbing that lure in a last-minute frantic action. Man alive, he must be full of food, that. Look how fat he is.
Amberjack, there's one down there about £50 following these in.
He's right by the
so
rocks,
wasn't he? Yeah, right next to the rocks. I'm going to try and catch him now. Get him back. There he is. Whoa, look at that. Oh, there's Jack.
As a general rule, the higher the birds are in the sky, the deeper the predators are below. I've learned that from many years of fishing for tuna from a boat. The shallower they come, that's when you want to be concentrating your casting, because that's when the baitfish will be near the surface. That's when you got the chance of getting some hits on that popper lure. And if the seabirds like it, hey, it must look pretty good to the fish below. As far as drag settings on the reel go, I have heard of 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and I have heard of 40 pounds of drag being applied to these fish. Now then, that is easily enough to topple you off the edge of one of these cliffs. Set the drag tight, otherwise a giant yellowfin tuna is going to spool the reel completely down to the stub. You'll come to the knot at the end and there will probably be a very loud crack. You want to fish, I'm guessing, 20 pounds of drag. If you can, 15 pounds of drag. Be prepared to lose a bit, but you're going to have to pump and gain it. Well, our English hero has had enough of that spot. He's moving off to try another one, and on the arduous climb back up there, I don't relish it. He's probably 30 years younger than I am, and he's still having trouble climbing up this lava flow. But of course, as he vacated the hotspot, he left it wide open for me and Kev. The lava tunnel tube was there calling us. We'd had to, well, there's no question I'm not standing right on the top of the pinnacle and casting where that guy was casting from. That's a bit too hazardous for me in my senior years. But we moved in as close as we could, and on a different day there, look at the birds out there offshore. Too far for us to cast to, but indicative of vast shoals of tuna. We thought we'd be really on for a chance at catching something. As you see me swinging this grouper, look down in the water, you can see vast shoals of triggerfish, which are locally called blackfish. They eat everything, but wait for this. Research has shown that those blackfish are one of the main diets of the 200-pound plus yellowfin tuna. The blackfish or triggerfish stay near the rocks during the day, but at night they go out deep. Now just look at this lure. That's one or two casts using a rubber-based lure, and as you can see, absolutely chewed and stripped clean by those triggerfish. Suddenly, Kev is onto something a bit special. A nice fish here. And is it a tuna or is it one of those hard-fighting jacks? Yeah, that stumpy head, that steep head, angled head. No, it doesn't belong to Kev, it belongs to the fish, which is a blackjack. That is one of the primary predators around the reefy areas, and what great scrappers they are. I think they grow to 20 or 30 pounds. That one is double figured, but like a lot of our fish, we put them all back. That's how it's done then, Kev.
That's how it's done.
Almaco jack, that one, yeah?
Almaco jack, yeah.
Show the folks at home.
Almaco jack on a popper.
Right under
Right
the feet. Absolutely a foot from the box.
There's loads of them down there. Absolutely loads.
Don't fall, Kev. It's only a fish. Don't fall. In case you wonder what all the excitement is, Kev's got a tuna. Kev's got a tuna on here. Good man, look at that, I've got him in the water.
That's a good fish, that.
Look at that, yeah, he said a big boil, big boil.
That's some button for stuff there.
And there's no disputing it's a tuna. Brilliant.
There you go, guys, that's my second yellowfin tuna off the shore on the popper, casting about 50 yards out. First time I've ever fished for tuna from the shore, and I just showed you don't have to be an expert. Just need the right tackle and you can land the fish. No problem. This one's about £35.
Don't lose your popper. Don't lose your popper. I've got a pair of pliers if you want it, Kev.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, that's £40. It's gotta be.
Oh, nice fish. What a beauty. Hey, fabulous fish, hadn't they? Off the shore.
Get on off the shore.
Why are we going boat fishing?
Don't even need to.
Fantastic. You can see, guys, where that popper's gone. Right the way down. But we like eating fish. And it's going to go, what, with some rice?
Yeah, this won't be wasted. We'll have this for our dinner tomorrow night.
Oh. Beautiful fish. Well done, Kev. Nice fish.
Oh. Right, when we first hooked this tuna, we thought it was about £30–35, but since we've landed it, it's more like 45. It's a cracking fish for him off the shore. It's my second tuna off the shore. And we've seemed to get the method together now how to catch them. If there's just one popper casting and retrieving, creating a wake on the surface, it's not working as well as if two people are casting together and you cast simultaneously together. Creates more disturbance, brings the jacks on, the black jacks, the amber jacks, and then eventually the tuna do come on. Don't get me wrong, we've been doing this now for about 4 hours, but we've had a lot of fish, and this is the first yellowfin we've had. There's been birds working out there just at about 300–400 yards offshore, and there's been some really big tuna showing. So let's hope this is a start of good things. This one took a blue popper about 50 yards out.
But we've absolutely hammered some big blackjacks, some Almaco jacks.
Almaco jacks up to about 15.
Unbelievable session. But this is the icing on the cake, isn't it? This is what you come for.
Yeah, definitely. Right, that's us finished here now for the day. I've just filleted down a tuna to take back with us, and this is what it coughed up, these scad. These are the poppers we're using. So as you can see, The bigger the popper, the better really. The tuna just engulfed them, no problem. Same as the blackjacks and amberjacks as well. Now we're just getting ready to go knife fishing now. Hopefully we get some 6 gills in the boat and big oil fish again. We've had them 280.
We never sleep. We never sleep.
Never sleep, just fish.
Just fish.
Fish hard or die trying, that's our motto.